until you come up with live.
Okay, I think I'm live. It says I am. I'm not going to do like an intro screen or anything because I don't care. And because, yeah, you know. Okay. Let me shameless plug for a second. I didn't even make a thumbnail, did I? Okay. Here, I'll send you a link so that you can share this. You just sent that. I'll put this here. Okay, sweet. Okay, ready. How are we all doing today? Let me make my whole setup because, geez. Okay. Late night stream. Guess I'm not sleeping tonight. Oh, indeed. Neither am I, actually. But that's for a different reason.
Yeah, you're gonna sleep on the plane.
Uh-huh. I have a red eye very early tomorrow morning, so that's fun. But yeah.
You have a what?
A very early flight. I don't know.
No, it's okay. Hanging out at the airport is fun. You can like look at the planes.
I have a 6-hour layover. That's fun. Technically 2 flights actually. But oh well.
Make sure you download all your favorite videos.
Oh yes, I downloaded my favorite Shirgi streams.
I don't know if anyone's actually downloaded my streams before, but if they have, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, let me just make sure that all this is spaced out correctly. Okay, are we ready to rumble? There we go. I think we're looking good. All right. Hold on, this guy is... Everything is going
you're
wrong.
So perfectionist. It's
yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's just go. Ladies and gentlemen,
I can see
welcome.
The letters on the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very late night. Not even very late night. It's not terribly late right now, at least for me. Anyways, music tier list. Hooray! Round of applause. Yay! My mic suppression won't pick it up, but I'm clapping right now. Yay! Okay.
Can't wait.
So, I got 4 tier lists. Was supposed to be 5, but you know. We got 4 tier lists here of different music and music things. So first we're gonna do like a general like theory one. This is just like theory concepts. I don't know how we're gonna rank these, but like how cool they are. Like, man, ear training is sick, but we'll get there when we get there. Second, probably the key signatures. Very important tier list, of course. As to what key is top tier. This is the meta tier list right now in the composition scene. Then some composers. We're not going to do all these because, dear God, but...
I haven't actually listened to most of them. Like a lot of their music.
And a lot of them are only like
1 or 2 pieces. But...
Yeah, like Mussorgsky. I only know a single piece by him, and it's pictures at an exhibition. But that's literally it.
I mean, it's a pretty good one.
It is a pretty good piece, but the version that everyone knows isn't even written by him. It's arranged by Ravel. But anyways, well, and then lastly, probably some instruments. Again, we're probably gonna have to look up what half these are because, like, what even is like this strange device? But we'll get there when we get there.
I think it's because they're just cropped poorly.
If they had labels, that would be nice. So I think we should begin with the music theory, shall we? This is going to be a weird one because we need to decide how we're tier listing them. Like note names, for instance. That's a really difficult thing to tier because it's like...
I think...
It's useful, I guess. It's like an A tier.
I mean, all of them are useful.
Yeah.
But I think it should be more like I was gonna say like how often we use them, but I don't.
Oh, well,
we're very different, so it's just gonna like average out.
Yeah, note names. I'm gonna also throw in ear training too with this one, because this is another one which isn't really a theory thing. This is just like a technique, as is note names, kind of. But note names is like, I'm assuming this is going off of the Western note names, A, B, C, D, not solfege. Which I'm surprised solfege isn't down here personally, but
Do, re, mi, fa.
that is an E tier. Ew, no, not E tier. F. There we go. That is an F tier. Sorry, I don't like solfege personally. I get bad memories back to choir. Anyways.
Do, a deer, a female deer.
Note names. How do we rank note names? How do you think? I like A personally because it is solid, and also A is a note name. However, there are other systems.
So is B, C, D, and F.
While that is an excellent point, I think that this is a very solid system. There is my argument, my thesis. It's a very solid system. Except the German system. What's the German system? Hold on. German note names.
They're a little different. Yeah.
Oh, they have H? That's sick.
Yeah, they have H. That's why Bach was able to use his name as like a melody, because H is a note in the German system.
Well, anyways, yeah, I think note names is solid, but I don't think it's perfect, because there is, if I tell you to play a C, you go, which C? But I guess there's like C3 and C5 and all that, but that's not, I don't know. It's weird.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on transposing instruments. Oh my word.
Oh, that's another good one. Transposition is, yeah, right here. Let's just like cut to that,
I feel like, is that different than modulation?
Wait, yeah, is this different? Modulation doesn't seem to be down here.
Okay.
Because transposition, yeah, like trumpet, clarinet, French horn, bass clarinet, all the saxes.
I understand why instruments transpose, but I don't like that they do, like, not one bit.
It makes me have to do one more click on MuseScore to click concert pitch.
Well,
which irritates me.
You can just imagine me, right? Fresh out of having learned music and music theory for a while, because I was training to be a pianist, and I never became one, but that's besides the point. It's besides the point. But
you're making this sad.
No, it's fine. And I started like, oh, I want to be a composer. And then I start clicking around in MuseScore, and I'm like, why does this note sound? I clicked the C, but it's not playing a C. But I put the C, and it's not sounding like a C. And then I'm like, why does this instrument not play the note that I tell it to? And it turns out they all do
grimaced.
that. All of those windy instruments
and the horns and
they don't play the notes that you tell them to,
because they want to be special little snowflakes. This is why trombones and tubas are cool.
And I'm like, but why? And to this day, I still don't know how exactly to transpose correctly, so I just write everything in concert pitch.
Honestly, that's perfectly fine. I do the same, or I try to at least. Anyways, yeah, transposition, I don't like it, and I think that it should be deleted from existence. Case in point. Moving on.
I feel like we destroyed all the brasses there. Take that.
Ear training. This is another weird one, because this is just a skill, but it is a really useful skill. I'm assuming this means like dictation, useful, yes. Where you can like hear something and write it down, which is actually an extremely valuable skill, even in composition, not just arranging or transcribing. This is actually an extremely useful skill. So I would personally put this rather high, but it does take a long time, and it does take quite a bit of effort to do it correctly.
I know there's dictation. I've never used dictate. I mean, I guess I like hear a melody in my mind, but what's more important, I think, which is more fundamental to ear training, is learning to recognize your intervals.
Yes. That is,
it's more important.
We'll get to you.
Dictation.
In fact, should we just do intervals right now? Because that's going to be another big one.
Intervals, you need to learn them.
S tier. So useful.
If you want to write functional, not atonal harmony.
I mean, even in atonal, it's pretty useful.
It's useful, but like, probably not as strict, I would say.
Certainly not, but it is still a very useful in just general music making.
Well, let's put ear training beside it. It's
so an S tier.
They kind of go the same.
Yeah, they kind of go hand in hand. Triads. This is a weird one.
Triads all the time. So
yeah, like triads are extremely useful. But it does get kind of boring. Like I think 7 chords are like triads, but better.
I don't like 7th chords.
Seventh chords are so pretty. What?
No, I'm best friends with 9th chords.
9th chords? Is that even here?
No, but there's the upper chord extensions one.
Okay, well, we'll get there when... Oh, it's right here. I think triads is like a B tier, personally, but I could definitely see an argument for it being higher.
For like a theory perspective, you need to know triads.
You do need to know it. Actually, I think that's a good way to like rank the rest of these. Like, how useful is it as a beginner musician to know these things? And how they work. Like, and it makes sense with the current tier list because like no one cares about transposition. If I was to teach somebody music theory right now, I would not even touch transposition until they're like, very far along. Yeah, but 7th chords are like...
They're not like
I want to put it up here so bad, but I can definitely see that they're not as important as triads.
Like, they're not. And neither are upper chord extensions.
No,
like,
it just gets down.
It just goes down.
I like this. I think this is a good spot.
Okay, inversions.
Inversions, S tier for me. I love inversions. Actually, no, A tier. You need to be careful with inversions because if you use them too much, it can actually accidentally shift a lot of the mood you're trying to go for quite easily. It's kind of like it's like a water slide almost. It's very, very slippery, but if you do it right, it can be super, super fun. That's my opinion.
My thing about inversions is that they're useful, I guess, if you're learning to play the piano. But besides that, I don't really think of them as inversions, more as bass notes, which I guess kind of
in like
is inversions.
Learning like first inversion, second inversion, that's a lot less useful than just going F major with the C on the bottom. It's a lot more useful if you can get down what the notes actually are.
That's how I notate them because that's just how I learned to notate them. But like, it's not a very good system.
I just realized if we're going. Sorry, go ahead.
I said because every time I write down my chords, I always use the figured bass notation, but it's not as easy to read. I understand people like they go into my stream and they're like, "What the heck is this?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry."
I just realized if we're going off of like how important it is to get this down, the note name should definitely be like the top thing. Get this down, but also solfege.
No, because
I think A tier is good.
Intervals are more important.
Intervals are more important
because like, who cares if you have perfect pitch or whatever? I mean, I guess there's what does it even mean to know a note name? They're just the alphabet, bro. Go back to kindergarten.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I guess like looking at a piano and knowing where C is quite useful. But that's not note names though. That's just knowing where C is. That's just knowing how to play piano.
We're stuck on this forever.
Okay, yeah, so we should move on. Major scales. This is a controversial one. B tier, personally. Because I think major scales, if you're learning an instrument, fundamental 100% get them down. But if you're composing, you don't really need to touch them. They're nice to know. But unless
Okay, LuTo, I'm gonna be honest. I think every single composition I've uploaded so far is in a major key. So, you know, I'm a little partial towards them.
I think minor scales and major scales are kind of in the same area. Minor scales are a bit more important because of like harmonic minor and melodic minor and all that kind of stuff.
Wait,
but
hold on.
That's not a.
If I'm thinking about this from like a beginner musician perspective, you need to practice your scales, all of them.
Well, are we going off of
practice your scales?
We're going off of like a beginner like theory.
Okay, well,
not
like
necessarily because
theory,
if you're
like,
learning an instrument, get your scales done 100%. Learn your scales.
Yeah, I know people are like scared when they see like 500 flats on their page, but like it's actually not difficult at all if you just practice your scales.
Exactly.
If you just practiced your scales, then
but
they would be fine. You would see it and you would know what to do.
I think if you are picking up an instrument for the first time, literally the most important thing. But if in terms of like composing, not crazy important. Especially because most
not important as in like which one should you choose?
Because then there's also overlap with key signatures.
Yeah, wait, what?
I assume this major scale and minor scales is like the diatonic series in a scale, which I don't think is nearly as important as, you know, key signatures or anything like that.
I would move them down a little. I would move them in the like C tier, and then
what about
like,
minor
put
scales?
The key signatures a little higher. I put them on the same level. They're interchangeable in my mind.
Yeah, I could see that. Minor scales are a bit more complex because they have the melodic and the harmonic minor, all that special stuff in them. But you don't need. They're about the same pretty much.
Oh, yeah,
in terms of usefulness, they provide the same amount. Modes.
Useful. Yay.
Modes. This is like the most solid A tier I could imagine, personally.
They're I would say they're more useful than inversions. I mean, I use them more than inversions. I have my glorious modal interchange chart every time I do my composing stuff. Every time I need a funky new chord.
Right.
And I look to the modes. And I use them.
Modes are awesome. I don't mess around with them as much as I should. I'm very guilty of not ever using them because I'm boring. But having played around with them a little bit, especially with the Sonata, it's quite fun. Because you can make some very interesting sounds.
Yeah, again, all my pieces are in major keys. Just modes are there to add some little bit of spice to them.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I'm squeezing all that I can out of major keys, even though people have been doing that for the last 300 years. But I'm continuing that.
Pentatonic scales.
Boo,
this is like a D or F, honestly. I don't think it's
actually like pentatonic scales, but
I'm gonna say D tier on these. I like D tier. They're not as useless. Transposition is like, don't even touch this. Don't learn about it. Close your eyes. Keep away. Pentatonic scales are at least somewhat useful because they provide a very interesting color.
Yeah. Wait. What about the American quartet? What the pentatonic scale?
Yeah, I think that it's definitely not as useful for like a complete beginner. They don't need to touch pentatonic scales, but it is good to get down later.
I mean, yeah, if you're writing classical music, then sure, but like otherwise, they're cool.
Yeah.
If you're writing like,
I mean, most theory
music,
students especially start out with writing classical style music, like writing in the style of like Bach or whatever.
Yeah, maybe. Exotic scales.
Exotic scales or altered scales. Okay. What is the difference between this and modes?
It's like, you know, like 32 Ito kind of stuff. I don't use them. I've never touched them.
I've never even heard of these.
If you're starting out composition, unless you're actively seeking to write microtonal music right out of the gate, then whatever. You can look at them later.
Okay. Key signatures. This is the most obvious one on the list. Okay.
Yay.
I don't think there's any argument there.
I mean, yeah, you need to know what they are.
Yeah, that's kind of important, unless you're going to be writing in C major the entire time.
It's the first thing that you write on your score besides the clef.
Roman numerals.
I use these constantly. They're the backbone of my music.
I hear there are some composers who
composition.
prefer to notate accidentals everywhere instead of using a key signature. I don't agree. Yeah, that's fair. I hear a lot of studios do that. Like for like film
That's
music, they rather than
I
writing
think
in a key signature, they'll write in every sharp and flat, just so that there's because you know the more time a musician spends in the theater, it's more money spent. So if they just mark it, there's no argument. That's
I
what
think
I've heard
that's
at
also
least.
like a Baroque practice, but I think that's before they established what key signatures are. So
Yeah, yeah, but key signatures are extremely important, unless you're a film composer, I guess. In which case,
yeah.
you're a
Wait,
film
hold on.
composer. Sorry. Roman
I think maybe they
numerals.
were just lazy.
This is a weird one.
I like them,
They're
but I
useful.
don't think you use them.
Yeah, I don't use them personally. I prefer lead sheet notation. It's easier to read, in my opinion. I do see the use for them, but I don't think they're as useful as like this up here.
From a composition standpoint, I would disagree, but that's because I write very strict harmony, so
Yeah,
I
I
use
mean,
them
I
constantly.
could see moving it up to A. It is like one of the first things students learn in composition class. In fact, I think
Oh
it is
yeah, because
the first.
they are, in my opinion, they're a lot more useful than note names in terms of like harmony.
Right.
But like if you're writing it down, then I guess they're less useful. I mean, they're both useful, of course, but that's the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Dynamics.
Dynamics. So, in my
I'm,
opinion, this is an S tier. This is extremely
yeah,
important.
wait, how are you gonna not learn dynamics?
Dynamics are one of the three pillars of music. It's dynamics, pillars, and dynamics, rhythm, and pitch. Those are the big ones. At least that's what I was taught. At least. So
I would
I
say
would.
they're more important than key signatures, but not as important as intervals.
Yeah. Yeah. Should we like order them
Yeah,
like that?
sure.
Dynamics are important, and luckily, the cool thing about dynamics too is it's extremely easy to get down. It's literally 5 that you need to know.
Well, yeah, ish. Uh, I'm kind
6.
of big on
Sorry,
dynamics,
6.
but
Yeah, just and after that, you could just keep adding F's or P's, or you can get to the
I
fun
remember
stuff
because
like niente.
it was like kind of a tangent, but like I remember on my every time I was graded on a piano performance, I was graded on something called balance. I don't know if you ever had to be graded on balance, but it was
Like,
the balance and dynamics between the melody and the accompaniments.
right,
And every time I learned about that, I go back and I listen to like young performers, and I realize there's a huge difference in people who know balance and people who don't,
right.
because of course the accompaniment should not be as loud as the melody. The melody should stand out, but like when you're the beginning, you don't think about that, and I never thought about that
A lot of beginners
until
just
you
kind of
uh,
like
they
they
just
want
play the notes. Yeah,
yeah they want every note to be heard, if that makes sense.
yeah,
They don't really
and
understand
every
the
note should be
concept
heard, but
of
some notes need to be heard more than others, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like especially when I started playing fugues, like there are some notes you got to emphasize, and there are so many notes happening right now that you need to finger independence as hard it is. Of course, that's just something you have to train. You have to train like one specific finger to be louder than all the others.
Right. Yeah, finger
Um,
independence is difficult, as Hugo mentions in chat.
it's difficult, but
It is quite difficult.
it's something that I spent a lot of time doing because it made it just makes you sound better.
Yeah,
So
dynamics is an
very
easy S tier, though.
important.
Easy S tier. And now we're getting into another very easy S tier. Note values.
Who even needs them? Go
Ooh.
back to unmetrical Gregorian chant.
Yeah, just have everything be, all free time.
I feel like there's a lot of S stuff and A stuff. Maybe we gotta start knocking some guys down.
Well, looking at
Who
what
do I
we
think
got
is
left
less
down here,
important?
especially, I think we're going to be filling those up quite well. But until then, we have 3 very, very useful ones. Maybe not articulation,
Clefs, who
but
needs
clefs.
them? Why don't we all just write in the treble clef, and then we just put a bunch of numbers,
A bunch of
below and
ledger
above them?
lines.
Or
No, but
that,
clefs.
but we can also just put as many ottavas as
I
we
feel like
want.
clefs and time signatures are pretty solid S tiers. You need to know those.
Okay.
Articulation. I'm going to say A tier on this. You don't. It's definitely less important. This is like you must get these down. This is like you should know this though. Articulation,
For
especially.
performance, yeah, I mean, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, I guess yeah. In terms of theory,
Because
it is a good thing to get down though.
if you get like text versions of especially Baroque and classical music, there's no articulation in them because the composer didn't bother to add it, which is kind of strange. Like if you go back and like get an text version of of Mozart, you'll notice there's little to no articulation.
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of expects you to play it how you want, and I don't.
Such a
And because
Mozart
I
thing to do.
realized well, yeah, but it was like people before him, like Beethoven and Bach and people like that. They just didn't put a lot of articulation. So you just kind of had to interpret it the way that you want. And I remember someone getting on to me in my comment section that I didn't add enough articulation in my music.
What?
So I don't know. This one's kind of weird. It's like I understand that. I guess if you want to be very specific about how you want your performer to play the music, then articulation is important. Would I say it's nearly as important as triads and note names? No.
You know what? I have been convinced. That's a really good point. Are they as useful as seventh? They're much more useful than seventh chords, though.
You just put them like above.
Yeah, like this. There we go. Tuplets. Now, if this was me speaking, like AS, somewhere in there, I love my tuplets, but they're not necessary. Completely unnecessary. You don't need to teach
you don't
young...
really need them.
Yeah. Okay, time to fill out the lower ranks. Rhythmic interpretation / solfege. Yes! Okay.
Yes, I hate you!
I hate solfege so much, and I am not going to hide it. I hate it. It is a useless system. Well, it's not useless, but the other way is so much better in my opinion.
Wait, but what is the rhythm interpretation part, though?
Considering there's a slash, I assume that means like and or.
Okay. Well, either way, is it like learning how to count beats? Is that what it's saying?
If they are doing this dilemma with me, I am going to commit some sort of act. Where they have to put, rhythmic interpretation, or what I assume they mean by that, is incredibly important. But solfege, no.
What is solfege? Is like when your teacher teaches you to count triplets for the first time. She's like strawberry, strawberry.
I had a conductor once. This is very, very unrelated. I had a conductor once who taught us quintuplets through Rimsky-Korsakov, through that one.
That seems like a lot of consonants.
Well, yeah, it is a quintuplet. But I think that this is a very solid F tier, because primarily because of solfege. 1E and accounting. That's more like just counting, though.
I mean, yeah, but that's not technically a solfege because you're not counting with numbers.
I think that it just means solfege. Rhythm interpretate. What could that mean? Oh, whatever. It's solfege, essentially, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah. Well, if it's solfege, then yeah, it doesn't. Whatever. Man.
Oh boy. Okay, this is going to be a hot topic. Cadences and functional harmony. Topic. So I already know where you want to put this.
LuTo? F. I don't use it at all.
I don't think it's crazy important. Cadences are useful, but functional harmony, it's nice. You don't need it though. Cadences are quite useful, though. I will say that.
It depends on what kind of music you're writing. It's kind of an iffy. Yeah.
But for like a complete beginner, it's important, but maybe not super important. In my opinion. It's nice to get them down early. It's also really easy to get cadences down. That's a Google search. You can find all that. It doesn't take super long. So I guess it's good to have, but I don't think it's completely necessary, personally. That's my opinion, though.
I never learned it.
You just kind of figured it out.
I don't even know what it is.
Functional harmony, though. I know that you like your functional harmony.
Well, yeah, that's how I write music that sounds like people want to hear it,
That is
and
a
also I want to hear it.
it's a great description. So I write music that sounds good.
I
Anyways,
wasn't gonna say that, but
we all kind of knew that's what you were implying.
no, it's because I do really like atonal music, but I just feel like you need to do it right, otherwise it just sucks. and it's and in my opinion, atonal music has a lot to do with orchestration and how you arrange your piece, and not
Yeah.
necessarily how you order the notes, really, because it's not all about, but it's partly about the musical sound effects, I would say.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
So in that way, sure, yeah, the functional harmony isn't really going to serve you a whole lot, but then you also need to focus heavily on the other thing. Otherwise, your music is just a pile of notes,
Yeah.
like actually. So it needs to be very both deliberate and also effective. And I think functional harmony is an easier way to make something that is both deliberate and effective, which is why I like to use it. But
So it's kind of like a shortcut.
If you have a technique, yeah, it is like a shortcut. And it's a very good shortcut because, it's worked for the last 300 years.
If it ain't
and
broke.
It still continues to work. Yeah, it ain't broke. But of course, if you want to expand on that, then
so B or
just
A?
Keep it.
I think this is a good spot for B or A.
Just put in B because I don't like how many things are in the top part. Like usually, I'm gonna say it. Usually, I'm a fan of things that are pretty top heavy, but
wow,
we gotta balance it out.
On my family-friendly stream,
on my family-friendly tier list. That was actually a lie. I don't really like things that are top heavy. I just thought it'd be funny to say.
You're really into mushrooms, I suppose. They're very top heavy. Anyways.
That's so true.
Polyrhythms. I like polyrhythms. They're fun, but they're not necessary. You don't need to learn them. They just
they're equally as useful to the beginner composer as a transposition.
Yeah, frankly.
It's like, what?
I would put it in D personally. You don't need to teach them. They're just kind of something you kind of come across, in my opinion, or my experience. But they're fun.
I guess.
They're fun. That's all I could say about polyrhythms. They're fun. D or F? I could see either, honestly. But as do you need to learn it? No, but you'll learn about it anyway on your own as you work and compose. Polyrhythms are S tier in my eyes. Yeah, they're cool, but as a beginner musician, you don't need to learn them. Partially because you're just gonna come up with them. You're just gonna find them. They just exist.
Well, yeah, because if we were doing what do I actually personally think of them, they would all be pretty high up because I think they're all very useful. All of them are useful, but we're thinking about it in terms of if you're starting out composing, then what do you really need to know? And if you're starting out, polyrhythms, just figure them out when you're ready. First, you need to learn what a time signature is, Dumbo.
It's tritone substitution. Okay.
That one's pretty low, I think.
Microtonality. Okay. Okay, maybe a D for microtonality. Because it is interesting.
Oh, you're so generous.
What do you have against microtonality? Oh, wait, I know exactly what you have against it. That's a dumb question.
No, I think microtonality is cool, but as far as I've seen, there's no theory on it. You just kind of have to feel it out.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
And I could do that, but I'm kind of waiting for there to be a modern treatise on microtonality so I can read up on it. But as far as I know, there isn't one, or at least not one that it's in my library or anything.
If you look around, there's probably one somewhere.
But but otherwise, I would actually try to learn it because I think it's interesting. But I mean, I don't know. I don't actually have any opinion on it because I have no idea. But there is some microtonal music that's awesome. Some of it that kind of sucks. kind of goes with the atonal music, even though it's kind of the opposite of that. But it's kind of like, because it's so new, you kind of have to do it right, or else what?
It's one of those things where you kind of have to feel it out as well. Because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. You really need to be careful with it as well, because if you don't do it right, it sounds awful.
Okay, but like for the beginner composer, is microtonality as important even remotely as pentatonic scales?
Not even close. So. Harmonic series, no. D tier.
Wait, what? I think the harmonic series is super important if you're orchestrating.
Okay, if you're orchestrating, but if you're composing, probably not.
But what's the difference?
Okay, it's nice.
As important as cadences and stuff. I guess you should learn it after. Is it less important than pentatonic series? Not even close.
Yeah, it's definitely more important than like pentatonic scales. It is a good thing to get down, I guess.
I think you should put it in C tier. I don't know if it's more important than your scales.
Yeah, I actually really like harmonic series next to tuplets. I think these are like equally as useful. And finally, temperaments. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I mean, there are lots of temperaments, but if you're composing in this century, I mean, you can use any of them you want because of FL Studio. But like, if you're a student, you're really only going to work with one temperament, which is the equal one.
Yeah.
And that's basically all you need to know. We have a huge catalog of music that was written with these 12 notes, and there will continue to be millions more pieces of music using just 12 notes. If you want to use more, sure, I guess, but like, do you really need to know them more than you need to know your key signatures? Absolutely not. Yeah,
I think I couldn't have put it better myself personally. I like C tier, maybe. Yeah, I like C tier. Come to think of it, I don't really think of the harmonic series when composing. Yeah, if you're not really writing for like orchestra, and I've seen you mostly write for concert band and like rock ensemble, if I'm not mistaken, Penbu. So in those orchestra, maybe in wind ensemble, I could see harmonic series being nice.
If you're writing for like piano and stuff, like you probably ought to know that if you play a chord in the lower parts versus the higher parts, the lower parts is going to sound super muddy and weird.
Yeah,
like that's so
harmonic series is important if you are writing harmony.
The harmonic series.
Oh, that is a good point. Actually, for harmony, it is really good.
Well, it's in the name, dum dum.
Shut up. Okay, well, are you happy with this tier list? I'm happy with it.
I think it's fine. It has kind of a weird shape, but
Yeah, we don't talk about the pentatonic scale.
It's just hanging out in there. I don't know what we have against pentatonic scales.
Okay, time for a controversial one. Key signature.
Oh no, this is going to be a test of how well I remember my circle of fifths.
Oh boy.
It's gonna be awful.
maybe make use of it subconsciously because I understand the money bit of it too. Yeah. It is nice to get harmonic series is nice to get down. I don't think it's like completely necessary though. Like you can go pretty far without ever learning what a harmonic series even is, frankly.
That's true. It's kind of one of those things that like you don't need to know it, but if you know it, your music will sound clearer in my opinion. Your music it'll have that little bit of sparkle. And you don't need to know it, but if you know it, then it's cool. But you don't need to. But if you do, it's cool.
That's a really good way of putting it, actually. I like the spot that we put it in. Anyways, key signature tier list.
Why are they ordered randomly?
Oh, it's A flat, A, B flat. Oh, they're in order. B flat, B, C flat. Okay. Right? Yeah, C flat, C. Oh, it's awful. Okay, A flat. I really like A flat.
I never realized how weird they are when they're like this.
I really like A flat, personally.
I know all 24 of my scales, and yet I look at this and I'm like, what is happening?
What do you think about A flat major or F minor? I love this key. It's so pretty.
Good key.
I think it's a solid key.
My favorite love song is written in it.
My favorite list piece is written in this key.
My favorite Bobby Dylan song is written in it. Very good key.
Who needs the circle of fifths when you could just use shortcuts? Exactly what I've been saying. You don't need to know theory. You don't need to know what any of this is.
Oh yeah, you don't need to know theory for anything.
Just
but
control.
Like, here we are.
Exactly. I like A flat major. I think this is a very good key. One of my favorite pieces is written in this key. An F minor is such a fun key to mess around with because it sounds so devious.
Oh, I don't use F minor. It's kind of, it always tricks me up when I try to play the scale.
The D flat is a good. Also, yeah, because this key goes in a D flat major, which is my favorite key as well. We'll get to that. I like this. This is a good spot. Ironically, an A tier. I think that's a good spot for it personally. How about you?
No, I like it.
It's a good key.
I'm trying to think if it's like I guess I would say it's my favorite. It's pretty good.
I can move it up to S.
I like
That's
it.
not a terrible idea. I'm not.
I mean, we both like it, so yeah, let's put it up there.
It's a good key. A major, on the other hand.
It's like A flat major, but brighter.
It's like A flat major, but worse.
I mean, fair enough.
Something about just saying C sharp minor just sounds off to me. Or no, F sharp minor, sorry. It's just something about it just sounds off, in my opinion. It's a perfectly excusable key, nothing wrong with it, but I just don't. I'd infinitely prefer A flat major, if given the chance.
A flat major or A major is a little tricky to play, but
I'm basing this on how much fun it is to write in this key and how fun it is to listen to pieces in this key.
I'm like thinking of all the pieces I play in A major, and so,
I have zero preference for key beyond how they feel to play it.
yeah, the thing is, like, technically all the keys, they are equal.
Yeah.
Like, they are.
But some just sound nicer than each other, in my opinion. Like F,
I think,
like for instance, F major is one of the worst keys in my opinion, easily.
What? I like F major.
I do not care for F major, but B major, on the other hand, I love B major.
B major is a little too wacky for me, but B minor is epic.
B minor is really, really cool. Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. A, on the other hand, A major.
A major's fine. C tier's fine.
Actually,
It's fine.
I like C tier. That's a good spot for it. B flat.
I like B flat, but
It's
not as
so
much as
simple.
C.
It's so simple, but in a bad way. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I like it less than A major, but
Yeah.
I can kind of see both of them. I mean, they
Every
are
time
right
I
next to
write-
each other, so
Writing in B flat major is like writing in C major for me. It's like I feel like I could do more with it, if that makes sense.
I like C major.
We'll get to C major in a second. It's kind of a boring key for me, though.
I like it.
I've never been able to perceive an inherent character in different keys like some people. I can only imagine the reaction of someone who knows nothing about theory listening to this conversation.
It's very important.
I love B major.
It's like tier listing your favorite color, but epic.
Yeah, but B flat never did it for me. B major, on the other hand, that's a solid key in my opinion. However, it is not fun to play in, and the fact that it is
Santa Claus came out of you for that. What was that?
I love B major. Sorry, I turned into Santa Claus. B major
is easy to play. I'm not gonna lie.
It's easy. I wouldn't consider it easy.
Oh, on the piano, it's easy.
Is it? Wait, I should know this. I'm a pianist. Whatever.
Oh my goodness. Practice your scales, dum dum.
I will say having E major is a big plus because E major to B major is a really pretty cadence specifically.
Yeah, I know on like all other instruments, B major is going to be like hell. You know.
Piano, it's chill though. On the other hand, you know what is
piano? All the keys are chill, really. But
you know what key is not chill?
What?
C flat.
C flat just looks bad. Just
Ew,
just put it down
just
there.
go away.
Who's even writing in this one?
Just go to B major. It's easier to play in and it sounds more fun to say.
Just go to B or C. Like either of them are better than whatever that is. I just don't like looking at it, right? It just looks like it has a bunch of warts on it. It looks diseased. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I feel like oh god, what is this one?
C sharp major. They're in order. Did you forget?
No, I can't do sharps. I get blinded. It's like I'm looking into a light. It just blinds me with all the sharps. I can read flats because they're more fun to, it's more fun to look at a flat than a sharp. Sharps are like spiky.
Oh, yeah.
Like the, what is it, Boo Boo
like,
Tiki thing?
You like them curvy.
What's like that social experiment where they had like the shapes and you have to name the shapes and people gave like...
Oh, Booba and Kiki?
Yeah. It's the same kind of deal with flat and sharps.
I like Booba.
Which makes the transition to C major great. C major.
I like it.
C major is like... it's how do I describe it? C major has like the same feel as like grass, if that makes sense.
C major is like an unsweet tea. I mean, there's not much there, but it's still good and refreshing.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I wonder if that is informed by the instrument you began playing. Like, my first instrument I ever learned was piano, so
it feels kind of bland. Well, the thing about C major is that like it's easy, and because it's easy for you to think about the harmony because it's just C major. There's no fancy flats or sharps in the way unless you add them. Like I think to like the Bach like prelude in C major and like how much he squeezes out of that key, even though it's just the first one, you know?
Yeah, I really liked your example with unsweetened tea. That's a good way of putting it.
It's like, you know, there's nothing fancy to it. It's just plain old C major, but maybe simplicity is exactly what you want.
It's like water, like a glass of water.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's like if you wrote your novel in Notepad.
If C major is like unsweetened tea, then C sharp major is like drinking magma.
Yeah, just put it with the other one. Like,
just get down there and don't. Here, you know what? I'm just like, please. God, no. There we go. It's perfect.
Like, if you really want to write in that key, then like,
just
good luck finding someone who will play it.
Yeah, average musician, they get shown this in front of them, they just walk off. This just out of the studio.
Like, not only will it sound bad on their instruments, but
they're constantly looking for sharps and all that. Now, D flat major, on the other hand, this is my favorite key, personally.
Wow.
I love D flat major. However,
it is very sexy.
What is your opinion on it? Because I want to put this top of the list S tier, personally. But
I think it's fine.
Really? C sharp major sounds rich on the piano, though. Well, so does D flat, and D flat is easier to read.
Yeah, but the C sharp minor is just better.
Have we? Oh no, that's in a second. C sharp minor.
Yeah,
it's D major. This is another very solid key, in my opinion.
Very solid. I think it can be our A tier key.
Yeah,
very good.
This is a very good key, especially because it has B minor, which is like a very meta key.
You can never go wrong.
B minor is just a solid key. C very minor awesome. And E flat major.
Worse. I would
like a B.
I would put that in like C. B, yeah.
Because I don't feel comfortable putting E flat next to B major. Because I actually like B major. I guess E flat isn't terrible. It's so easy to play E flat as well. It's such an easy key to play with.
Yeah, it is fun to play in. But
C minor is C. I'm sorry, this key is carried by C minor though. E flat does nothing for me. Like personally.
E flat's pretty good. It's like, it's like the sister key of A flat major, right? So
right.
Like, pretty good.
You do go to, but A flat can also go to
modulation
D flat though,
possibilities.
and that's another very solid key.
Oh yeah. But C minor, pretty good. Not a huge fan of it personally, but like it's fine.
It's
I put it
carried by
below
C
major
minor.
personally.
You put it below
But
C
yeah.
major.
Personally.
If
but,
E flat was a better key, then I'd put it higher. But C minor is a solid minor key.
Yeah.
Okay, E major and C sharp minor.
C sharp minor is pretty good, but
E major is quite good.
not a huge fan, to
Really?
be honest. Yeah, I just don't like the way it looks at me.
I don't
Like-
care for C sharp minor. But I like E major a lot. I think E major is a very pretty key.
It's pretty.
It has this very like
Um,
sadness kind of inbuilt into it.
I just don't like the way that E major looks. Just like look at it. Like that's so gross.
Yeah, I guess I can see putting it in C, but I feel like we're getting a bit too much in the middle too.
Yeah, we gotta start demoting some of these guys.
Yeah, sorry, C major.
No.
Don't worry, you'll have a friend soon.
Oh no.
Very soon, especially because of the next key is my least favorite key. F major and D minor does not do it for me. I don't like these keys. Personally, at least. It never did it for me.
Cool.
I think that it's boring. It's just
Never
C
listened to
major.
the Bach harpsichord concerto in D minor.
It's like C major, but wearing like a shitty disguise. Like two guys in a trench coat kind of disguise. It's just C major though.
And clearly you haven't heard the
You'd be correct. I don't know what piece that is. I don't listen to much Bach, I'm afraid.
I think it's very solid. I would put it on the same tier as C major because I think they're both like kind of fundamental keys.
Yeah, they're
And
kind
it's
of
a good
important
place
to
to
each other
start.
too. They're very important to
place
each
to
other
start.
too. What is it? F sharp major, I think. Yeah, F sharp major.
Yeah.
I don't care for it.
I don't care. I don't care for it.
I don't
It's
care
not
for
like,
it.
oh god, I hate this, but like I've never used it, and I don't think I've actually ever played a piece that is in it.
G flat major, however.
G flat major is sexy.
It's the same. It's wild.
Very
Just
good
it's
key.
the exact same sound, but it just changes between flat and sharp.
Exactly.
It's just that this is what we meant by flat keys being better.
It's just sexy.
It's just nice to look at
How
too.
it-
Like this one, it feels like if I touch it, I'm gonna get shocked like an electric fence. This one, I just feel like it's gonna be like a, I don't know, like a bouncy ball. It's gonna be all smooth on all edges.
Yeah, it's gonna
Not to
be
mention-
so smooth, and I just want to run my fingers across it. I think it's better than D major. I would put it at the top of A tier.
Not to mention, G flat major sounds kind of bubbly and like in like a
Yeah,
stupid
you
way.
know that like the impromptu by Schubert in G flat major.
I don't
Very
listen to
sexy.
much Schubert.
What? It's
I'm
okay. Well,
sorry.
it's like the famous one, but you'll probably know it when you hear it. But anyway, next one, G major.
G major or E minor. I don't care. E minor definitely carries this key. G major does
D
nothing
tier
for
is
me.
fine.
All right.
Yeah, I would agree.
How are we thinking? Any last minute changes?
It looks like an E.
It does look like an E. With E as being like the snout of it, I guess.
Yeah, it's got like there's like the purple guy.
Okay. Now we're gonna get real controversial. Composers.
Wait, how many tiers are there?
Oh wow, there's
Only
only 5?
Oh,
No, give me one. How do I add one? I gotta like,
I don't know, or add a row below.
I think.
I don't
Yeah.
know if I actually want to put anyone in F tier, but like I just want to have it, you know.
There are certainly some composers in here who I don't like, and we're only gonna tier list the composers who we know of, and are like confident. Like I've heard one Smetana piece, for instance, but I'm not.
I've not even heard of that guy, so.
I've only heard of one Smetana piece. It's a violin thing he wrote one time. But I can't judge him because I only know that one piece. But
Yeah, no, right.
let's start at the top. Bach.
What do you think of Bach?
S tier. Literally, in my opinion, the most important composer who ever lived. Western music
Do I
theory would
agree
not
with
exist
that?
without him,
Um,
in my opinion.
I don't know if he's the most important. I would argue Beethoven is more important than Bach. But I do agree that he's very important still, of course.
But then do you take into account if a composer is only known for one piece? Well, that's true. But
yeah, I don't know.
We'll
Really
get there
look
when
at
we
any
get
of
there.
these guys and say they're only known for one piece.
Yeah, we'll get there when we get there. Bartók. Well, actually, no, it's not Bach. I would argue Bach is the most important musician. Him and Beethoven are definitely in the same tier. Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and put Beethoven then.
Yeah, let's just put Beethoven up here too.
He's
Bartók,
definitely.
on the other hand,
I like his music a lot.
I don't care for Bartók.
Really? You don't care for Bartók?
I don't care for Bartók. I don't
feel
like his
you would love
music.
Bartók.
I don't care for his
okay.
music, personally. I think Stravinsky is cooler.
What? I think Bartók is like. He's like. What's like an analogy? No, I can't really think of one because analogies are a little hard when it comes because they're not similar, but they are kind of. Bartók's like, his music is like
We should judge
it's
this on
aggressive,
importance.
very aggressive, and I like it.
Okay, I can see that. At the same time,
Stravinsky's music is not as aggressive,
but
like,
his music is
it's
prettier in my opinion.
violence. Yeah.
His music is definitely easier to listen to, too.
Sure, I might agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weirdly, that's kind of insane now that I think about that.
Bartók is cool for a bunch
cool
of
for a bunch-
reasons outside of his actual music. Really?
That is true. He's like a what's like the word for it when you're like a music historian? That's not exactly the word, but there's he's like a
A musicologist? I
you
don't know.
well, yeah, musicologist. Yeah, something like
Is that
that.
the right word?
He was pretty important for that, especially for his
ethnomusicology.
Hungary.
Ethnomusicology. I've heard of that before. That's neat.
Yeah. They're very cool.
Yeah, he seems like that's neat.
That's pretty neat.
I'm gonna move him up a tier for that.
Yay.
Do you like C tier for him, or do you want to? I can see him put it higher.
I like Bartók a lot, but if you don't like him, that's fine.
B
I don't-
for
I don't really
Bartók.
mind. I don't actually listen to a whole lot of Bartók, but then again, I don't listen to a whole lot of anyone beyond like the 1900s. So
Berlioz. He's only known for one piece. Technically, kind of two, depending on what you consider known for.
but he did write that big book on orchestration, which is cool.
Berlioz is pretty much only known for fantasy, symphony fantastique. Which is
You
like,
say it right.
sorry, it's symphony fantastique,
Shows you
right?
how much you know about him.
It's fantastique,
yeah.
right? Yeah, he's French.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's French.
His name is Hector. That doesn't sound very French. But let me see. Yeah, he is French. You're right. Oh, his first name is Louis or Luis.
That's a very French
But
name.
he goes by the name Hector. Yeah, that's why it threw me off. I'm like, Hector, that's not French.
Berlioz. I like him. Not very important. Like a C. He's like a C tier composer. Symphony
I mean,
Fantastique is a
compared
very,
to
very fun listen.
Bartók. I haven't actually listened to it,
What, Symphony Fantastique?
so I have no opinion. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I like him. I don't think he's
yeah.
as important as some of the other people we'll get to. But yeah.
But he did write Fantastique like high on cocaine or something. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And it's kind of a creepy,
That's pretty awesome.
like the subject matter.
Oh yeah, he is very creepy.
Yeah, he
but
was
definitely not the most creepy out of anyone on this list.
Oh no,
Like,
there
Wagner,
are
very creepy.
It's a shame that the Granger isn't on this. Percy Granger isn't on this list because holy shit.
It was an opium. Oh, I see. I couldn't remember,
Percy
but
Granger.
yeah, something like that.
You should read some of his letters that he sent to his lover.
Or did you read about Brahms?
Okay. I don't. I feel like I know one. What did Bizet? Carmen. He wrote Carmen. That's it.
I mean,
Carmen is
yeah,
fire.
that
Don't get me
is
wrong.
pretty cool, and it did give rise to the scariest music of the 21st century.
Really?
Yeah, it goes like this. Dun 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 dun.
Oh, shut up. Okay. Okay. Bizet. He wasn't. Another interesting thing about Bizet too is he wasn't really respected until after he died.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think Carmen was his big work. It was like his masterpiece, but that didn't get famous until it was premiered in Vienna, which was after he died. I think. Bizet is only really known for Carmen, but Carmen is so good that I have to rank him highly. Yeah, I agree. It's a very, very good one. I like putting him in B with Bartok. Yeah. I'll probably call the B guys.
I feel like now that I'm saying that, like, I feel like I'm doing him a big disservice by not listening to the rest of his catalog if Carmen is so good. But you know,
he died. What does that say? He died like 2 months after. Get out of the way. He died like 2 months after Carmen premiered, and it was initially a failure. Yeah, that must suck.
Well, yeah, but like,
he
Bach barely had his music performed too until like 100 years after he died. So there's also that.
I like Bizet in B. I think it's a good spot for him.
Yeah, Bubba Bizet.
Brahms, I really only know him for one piece, and it is not one of his more famous ones.
Wait, which one is it?
Brahms' Requiem. I know him for that one.
Oh, I haven't heard of that. I don't really care for Brahms's symphony works, but I think his piano repertoire is fantastic.
I've played one of his symphonies before, actually. Very long time ago, but I have played one of his symphonies. I didn't really like it.
But Brahms's piano music, absolutely amazing. Beautiful.
Yeah.
If you're in love, Brahms music, listen to that constantly.
Should you put him like A tier?
Lovely. I would put him a little below Beethoven personally, but that's just because I like him so much. But he is kind of a weirdo.
I like A tier, especially because some of the people we're going to get to. I think this tier is going to fill up, or maybe it won't actually. Who knows? But I think A tier is a good spot for him.
No, I don't think it's going to fill up. But like, yeah.
Britain, I don't know who this is.
I don't either. I'm sorry, Britain.
Okay, I will skip him. Chopin, on the other hand, worse than Liszt. Liszt is cooler, in my opinion. But
you immediately start off by comparing him with someone else.
His piano music's good. Sorry, I love Liszt. His music is so pretty. Chopin, on the other hand,
on the Liszt music.
I really turned around on Chopin recently. I used to not really care for him, but now some of his stuff is actually quite good. I've begun listening to more of his catalog, and he actually does have some really nice stuff mixed in there. Like, he wrote a bunch of waltzes. And
I agree.
Those are just pretty.
Chopin has a very pretty style, but it's not for me personally.
No. I
prefer, like, you know, Brahms's music is a little more structured, so I prefer his music, but that's just me. I
like C tier.
I feel like that's extremely controversial. I'm not gonna lie.
No. Chopin and Bizet.
People off.
Chopin and Bizet, I like being next to each other. Shostakovich.
Man, why is Chopin gonna look so sad? We don't have a picture.
Yeah, don't look at me like that.
He's so sad.
Shostakovich, though. I don't care for Shostakovich. I've only really listened to his symphonies, but even then they were like, okay. They never really did it for me.
I mean, I think his music is great. I think he is... I think his music is important too, like more than just good. It's like it's important. But again,
when did he was he at the same time as Tchaikovsky, or was he Before Tchaikovsky.
Oh no, he was. I think he was way after. He was in the Soviet Union. Remember, like.
As well, yeah, Tchaikovsky was too.
Yeah, but Shostakovich was super recent. Like, dude, Shostakovich died in 1975.
I think Tchaikovsky he's like the main Russian composer, in my opinion. Like, when we get to him, I think that's a pretty easy S tier for me, personally.
Tchaikovsky. Is Tchaikovsky, like, younger than I think he is? For some reason, I think of him as kind of old.
Well, yeah, it's because the only pictures we have of him are when he's old. Shostakovich looks super young.
He died in 1893. Okay, I was right, yeah.
Tchaikovsky did?
Tchaikovsky died in 1893, yes.
Oh, what? He did?
And
Hold on. That doesn't
Yeah,
feel
and
like...
Shostakovich died in 1975. I was like, are you sure?
Oh, gee, I thought this guy was alive in the Soviet Union.
No. You must be thinking of someone else. I was like,
I must be. Because I thought the whole thing...
Right
I thought the whole thing with him was that the reason that people thought he died is because the Soviets thought he was didn't want to have a gay composer or something like that.
Well,
but
yes,
I guess,
but it wasn't Soviet Union yet. That was just Russia.
Yeah. Shostakovich, though, we'll get to Tchaikovsky, but Shostakovich.
I like his music. Again, not
I don't
for
really
me,
care for it.
like,
I need to listen to more though, so I'll go with your answer.
Yeah, that's true. It's just not for me.
Shostakovich's life makes his music more interesting for me. I would need to do more research on who Shostakovich was. I admittedly haven't looked into like any of his stuff. I have listened to a couple of his symphonies. But yeah, they just never did it to me personally. Did it for me personally.
But he did write that piece that's like, it's very catchy. And I like that one. No, he's gone.
Sorry, give me a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about Shostakovich because, again, I don't listen to a lot of
I'm sorry about that.
contemporary music. So
More flight stuff happened. Yeah. Okay.
Anything beyond like 1850, I probably haven't listened to a whole lot of because it's not the kind of classical music I listen to.
Yeah. Okay. Shostakovich. Am I unmuted? I just want to check.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I keep having to go away because stuff keeps popping up. Anyways. Shostakovich, somewhere in here. I need to listen to more of him.
That is so true. So do I.
C tier?
But I don't know if I will.
I feel like C tier is just kind of mean. You're a middle-of-the-road composer.
No, I'm here to, like I said, I'm here to piss people off.
Okay, we'll keep him there then.
Let's do it.
Debussy, I have not listened to much of his stuff.
His music is like, imagine his music sounds like grass waving around and there's like a pastel blue background. That's what his music sounds like.
So very peaceful.
Yes, it's very peaceful.
Okay.
At least like his famous works, of course.
Yeah, I haven't admittedly haven't listened to much of his stuff. He pioneered
the use of parallel chords to actually sound good.
Debussy is so wonderful, but in the inevitable comparison with Ravel, I have to go with Ravel. Yeah, that's so true. Still, Debussy is very high.
I prefer Debussy's music, but in my opinion, it's just more pleasing to play, like when I play.
I see.
On the piano.
Yeah. I need to listen to more of him as well. You know what? I'm going to add some of the stuff to my playlist. Is there any recommendations you have for good Debussy?
No, you could probably just find like a compilation album.
Okay.
And just like put that. I'm sure there are thousands.
Okay, where would you place him though? Probably quite high.
Oh, I like him. Yeah.
Like B, A tier?
And also his harmony is very cool. But his haircut does suck the most out of everyone we've reviewed so far.
So far, there are definitely some worse ones.
Yeah, there are some worse ones.
Like, where is he? Where is he? list. Those curtains aren't doing much for you. Anyways,
Yeah, those curtains are you that jaw is really carrying your looks, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like you're showing too much forehead, my man.
yeah.
Come on.
Anyways, Debussy, I like B tier for him. Debussy was also a huge womanizer, I believe. Ooh.
Well, yeah, because he's French. Duh. Like
all of the French people are like that one skunk from Looney Tunes. That's just how they all are.
Well, yeah.
Obviously. That's why he's French. Dukas! I don't know who this is.
Well, you said his name with such ferocity. I thought you did.
No, it's because I'm excited about who's after this. But Dukas, I don't know who this is.
I don't know who it is either.
Dvorak. I love Dvorak. My favorite composer. Oh, he wrote Sorcerer's Apprentice? Okay. Dukas wrote Sorcerer's Apprentice. Okay, he's only in it for one piece. Sorry. Dvorak time. No, that's mean.
I see.
Duka? Oh, the S is silent? Okay. Okay, then. Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's okay. It's kind of repetitive. But he's only known for one piece. How would you rank Sorcerer's Apprentice?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it was in Fantasia. I haven't seen Fantasia, but I know the piece is still.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen it either. Is it like a band piece?
No, it's for orchestra. It has a dun 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 dun. It goes wild. The bassoon feature. Yeah. Are you listening to it right now?
But no, I'm just looking up the article at least so I can see. I don't know what it is.
It's an interesting piece. I don't think he's okay though. But compared to the rest of them, no, frankly. But Dvorak, on the other hand, I want to put Dvorak.
You just want to get to your celebrity crush.
I'm sorry, I like Dvorak. His music's so cool.
I don't have an opinion on Dvorak. I haven't listened to his music very much. So.
Oh, you just stabbed me right through the heart by saying that.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Edward Elgar. I really like Elgar personally.
I do too. I like Elgar's music.
It's like
I listen to a lot of it, but
Elgar's music. If we're keeping with the drinks analogy, Elgar's music is like a glass of lemonade on a hot day. Like you can't go wrong with it. It's always nice.
I don't even know if I would. His music is very stately.
Yeah.
It's not just because of, pomp and circumstance, but it like bleeds into his other music too. Like his music
is so English.
It is so English. He just looks English. Look at that mustache. Look at that haircut. Look how English this. He's even like
wild to think that he wasn't really famous until Enigma. He was pretty niche until after Enigma.
Enigma is pretty cool.
Enigma is a very cool piece of music.
But yeah, like Elgar.
I like him a lot.
It is literally like stepping into a castle. It's very English, and that's awesome.
I am debating A or S tier. No, I can't put him up here with Beethoven and Bach, though. I just can't. I like A tier.
I would agree with it. Yeah,
like top of A tier.
Yeah, I like that.
You know how I said in the tier the key signature tier list that C major was simple in a bad way. This is simple in a great way, in my opinion. But you know what is simple in a bad way? Fauré. I assume you don't know who this is. I think we've talked about him before.
I've heard about Fauré, but I don't know any of his. Like I couldn't name a single piece by him.
All of his music sounds the exact same.
Yeah.
It all sounds very peaceful, and it's nice. It's not bad, frankly, but compare like Pavan, Opus 88, something like that, to Sicilian, and they sound. It's one of the few composers you can tell it was written by the same guy, like without even having any classical music knowledge, without any like knowledge of harmonics or any of that, like what composers typically do. It just sounds the same. if that makes sense.
I mean, maybe, but like that's
Fauré was
I
the
don't
sort
really
of
care about
generation
that,
before
but
true impressionism with Debussy and Ravel. Oh yeah, I guess that is true. Yeah, he was like one of the early
the
French.
forerunner.
Yeah, but still, in terms of music, I just don't care. Like keeping with the drinks analogy, this is like drinking uh, uh lemon scented water.
Lemon scented water.
Like if that, yeah, like it's not gonna get you there. It kind of leaves you lacking, but it's not bad, I guess. Like I would put him in D
I
tier
don't know.
personally.
Okay.
A lot of interesting harmonies with more rigorous romantic forms. Interesting. Okay, Gershwin. Oh, this is a big one. What are your thoughts on Gershwin?
I only listened to the Rhapsody in Blue, and it sounds. Well, I think I heard another one. It's like the Appalachian Spring, I think, unless that was by someone else. That was
That
pretty cool.
was that
Is that not Gershwin?
no, that was somebody else. I'm trying to remember. I know who it is. I know the name.
Who was that? It was by Copeland.
Copeland, that's it. He wasn't on the tier list, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was just like, that felt wrong, but Copeland is cool.
Gershwin, he also wrote American in Paris.
Gershwin. True.
Gershwin, I really like his music, but it's the kind of thing where you kind of listen to it after like the fifth listen through, you're kind of tired of it.
You know, maybe. I did recently listen to a version of the Rhapsody on with a harmonica soloist, and it was very cool.
Wait, that does sound super cool. I like B
That was
tier for
very
him
cool.
personally. I think B tier is a solid place to put him, especially because he was one of the first composers to really mix jazz and classical styles, which is kind of what American music is now. Yeah, Gershwin is probably more important for his contribution to popular music. Yeah. Overall, he's great. Yeah, he's very solid, but I wouldn't say I like him any more than Dvorak or Elgar. At least that's my thought process, at least. He also wrote one of the first operas intended for black performers. Oh, that's neat. Oh, was that the
Wait,
Porgy and Bess?
how does that even work? Wait, what? What do you mean intended?
Yeah, Porgy and Bess. That's it. No, it is Porgy. Yeah. Okay. Glazunov. I don't know who this is.
Me neither, but that's a really cool name.
Do you know who Glazunov is?
No.
Sounds like
But
Hungarian.
Glazunov is a cool name.
Or Russian, or some kind of.
But
Eastern
that's not a very
European.
good haircut, I'm not gonna lie, so.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate haircut. It looks like
The haircut is. It looks like he put on like a toupee, but then like rotated it incorrectly.
Grieg. Glazunov was one of the Russian. The what do you call it? The Mighty Handful, whatever they're called. Yeah, he's okay, I guess. I don't know. I haven't listened to any of his music.
Five.
The Fantastic Five. Yeah, whatever. Grieg. I don't have anything to say about Grieg. Nothing bad, but also nothing positive. He wrote like one thing which people know, Mountain King.
Okay, well, the Peer Gynt Suite is pretty epic, but other than that, I don't know him very much, so.
Oh, he also wrote, what was it called? From Till Autumn? Something about autumn. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
His piano concerto, too. I haven't listened to his piano concerto.
I was learning how little music we've listened to.
Like, man, I need to step away from the romantic composer. I need to, or like these guys up here.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, you don't need to.
Grieg. It sucks with Grieg, though, because people only know him for one piece, even though his other stuff is actually quite good.
Okay, but the Mountain King is pretty awesome. It is very awesome.
Grieg's piano concerto is basically the most important late romantic piano work. Wow, really? That's quite an honor. Not like Tchaikovsky? Oh well, that's just me. I know I only know the famous ones. Like Tchaikovsky piano concerto, for instance. Grieg though is kind of a difficult one to rank, in my opinion.
We don't have to rank everyone.
That is true. Handel. No, let's C tier. Yeah. Handel. I feel like I should know more of his work.
I've given Handel's music a chance because Baroque music is my favorite kind of classical music.
Oh, what's this? Grieg wrote Mountain King as a parody of bad popular music. He intended for it to be intentionally over the top and was surprised at its popularity.
What? Did Grieg forget what period he was writing in? Like, what? His contemporaries were like going all over the place.
Handel. I only know Handel for one piece. That's water music because I'm a stupid. I don't know.
His music is.
You probably know a lot
compared to the other Baroque composers. I think it's kind of boring. Compared to other Baroque composers,
I will say, yeah. And for Hallelujah, yeah.
Hallelujah's fine, but
I like C tier for him personally.
I don't know if I like him more than.
I like Grieg more than Handel.
I don't have an opinion.
I like Grieg more than Handel.
Yeah.
Here, I guess. But Fauré isn't bad at the same time. Maybe like that. Like this is a good order.
Sure. I don't know the other guys though.
Duke. Yeah, you don't know who that is. You should listen to Sorcerer's Apprentice though. It's a fun piece. Haydn. I don't know who this is. I don't know any of his music off the top of my head though. Unfortunately.
Okay, he's like the classical composer along with Mozart.
He looks like a founding father.
Well, yeah, because he is. He's basically, he didn't invent classical period music, but he basically perfected it.
I see. Haydn is so good and so important and so funny.
He's not like as important as Beethoven, but that's mostly because Beethoven had a bigger legacy. At the time, Haydn would have been vastly more important.
If Beethoven never existed.
Yeah, I think Beethoven was Haydn's pupil.
Really?
That sounds right. Yeah. I think Haydn taught him composition or something. So.
His nickname was Papa Haydn because he basically invented sonata form in the symphony and string quartet. He invented the symphony? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know what?
I like that. Again, he basically perfected the classical, and he kind of defined the classical area music.
I've never listened to him, but he seems quite important. I like S tier.
Yeah, he's important, but like his music, it's fine.
Like bottom of S tier, like down here. If we could put him down here.
Yeah, he's hiding from everyone else.
Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. Holst.
I'm not gonna lie, he probably has the worst haircut of anyone on this list.
He looks like looks like Woodrow Wilson.
He does kind of look like a president, you're right.
It's like a Woodrow Wilson mixed with a light bulb.
He does get points because trombone is his main instrument, and
that is cool.
That is very cool.
He also wrote Planets.
That's why he wrote a bunch for brass.
Planets is a very fun thing to listen to.
I'm not gonna lie, almost all of my orchestration has been stolen from this guy.
Okay, I feel like he's pretty high in that case.
And I like it.
I like A tier. I think that's a good spot for him.
Yay.
Okay, and I don't know who a lot of these people are. Kalinikov. I assume these are more of the mighty handful. Khachaturian, Kodali, Leisure. Yeah, I'm not sure who these people are. Khachaturian style is awesome. Okay. I considering, do you know who any of these people are?
No, but I don't know who a lot of these people are. So
Okay, I considering neither of us know who is, I think we'll skip all these guys for now and move on to Liszt. Just above, for me personally, just above Chopin, like here.
okay, I would agree with that. Like his music is fun to play if you can play it.
How long? He had like
but-
incredibly long fingers, didn't he?
I think so. So did like Rachmaninoff, you know. So they were
Oh,
just
yeah.
good at piano because of that.
We'll get to you.
Yeah, he those guys, they, you know, it's like being tall in a basketball team, right? You just
Yeah.
kind of can do better because of that.
Luddy.
So-
I don't know who this is.
Luli's music, it's fine. I guess.
You know, I've
It's
noticed
fine.
we've yet to put anybody in F tier, which F tier is like we actively dislike this individual's music.
Well, there are some of these that I actively dislike the individual, but actively dislike their music.
Yeah, there's definitely some of these who I
None
would...
of them really. I can't think of someone that I actively like. Oh, like get this out of my ears. I can't think of one.
Lily accidentally killed himself by conducting too hard. Wait, really? Oh, Penderecki, maybe. Maybe Penderecki. I only know one of his pieces, and we've talked about it on stream before, but it is I will never listen to it again. It's a terrifying piece of music. Maybe I'll listen to it. I don't know. Not anytime soon.
But wait, but Terrifying is epic.
It is epic, but it's actually like kind of, it's like creepy, terrifying.
It's like the same reason you don't like Bartok. It's too scary.
No. This is different.
I mean, I haven't heard it, but
I think we've talked about it once before. Victims of the, or what is it? Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima.
oh yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you showed me
remember
that
talking about
terrifying
that.
painting.
Yeah. I mean, I can appreciate things that are horrifying because of course they exist
Yeah. Of
for a
course, I'm not
reason,
saying
right?
just bad,
so-
disturbing subject
But,
matter
like,
is bad.
Like if you're trying to listen to it on a Friday afternoon, you're like, ooh, maybe
Yeah.
not.
That's a good one to get the mood down. Anyways, Mahler. I only know one of Mahler's pieces, and it's Mahler 5.
I haven't listened to any Mahler pieces,
Mahler
but he
is
didn't write very
interesting.
many. I've heard.
Mahler's interesting. It feels like he's just kind of a less interesting Dvorak, in my opinion. Which I know is
understand that
like
his music is very epic and stuff.
Mahler's symphonies are just too long. Yeah, they are really long too.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, I can kind of appreciate him literally going to the extremes of how romantic music works. Like he saw what Wagner was doing. He's like, I can do you, but 10 times better. I just haven't
I'm
listened
putting
to
him
it, so
here.
I don't have an opinion on him.
I like bottom of B for Mahler.
He also just has kind of a cool haircut. Like it's not great, but it's cool.
It looks like he wants to sell me health insurance.
Yeah.
Martinu, I don't know who that is. So Mendelssohn, I have not listened to any of his music, but I don't know who he is.
Okay, so
You got
let
any
me
thoughts on
describe
Mendelssohn?
Mendelssohn for you. Yeah, I like Mendelssohn. He's like he's like Mozart in the Romantic period. You know, he has kind of that graceful, elegant kind of style.
Was
but,
he also
in the Romantic
as
period instead of classical one?
was he also as prolific as Mozart?
I don't know, but I know he is the reason that Bach is so popular now because he discovered his music.
Mm.
And he was like, whoa, guys, look at it. And everyone's like, wow, we slept on this. And then everyone's like, I hate you, Mendelssohn, because you're Jewish. And he's like, but wait.
I think that's a good spot. He seems interesting. I need to listen to more of his music.
He is cool. I mean, it depends on what you like. I'm very into the slow kind of like Hallmark music kind of thing.
Mendelssohn was the child prodigy and died super young. Really?
Yeah, it's very sad. But yeah, he was a child prodigy. I did forget about
All right.
that.
Monteverdi. He's very, very underrated. I don't listen to
He has a very cool name.
Yeah, it's a very cool name. He invented like the orchestra. Pretty
I don't know
much.
much about Monteverdi, so you can go ahead and take him.
Yeah, I think he was the first person to assemble what the modern, like we would call an orchestra with strings and I think early horns were in it as well. Were they? Or was that... Because I remember Handel also was pretty renowned for adding horns to the strings. Oh well. But he did assemble... No. He did do a lot of horns, didn't he? His madrigals are amazing, and he wrote what is considered the first modern opera. Oh, is that Orpheus? What is it? The Tale of Orpheus, whatever it's called. He wrote an opera
Orpheus and
version of it in the L'Orfeo, something like that. Yeah, that one, L'Orfeo. That's it. Oh boy, I think he's super underrated. And he's like one of the first composers in general. Big one up next.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but like I know what you mean.
Big one, Mozart. Mozart is surprisingly tricky in my opinion.
Why?
Because I definitely see how he was important, but I can't put him on the same tier as Bach and Beethoven. For something is holding me back about him.
Probably you just think that his influences and his greats.
But that's the thing, his influence was.
Yeah. I like they're just completely removed from influence and stuff because I don't really care about that part.
Mozart
his
added
music is very fun to play.
Mozart,
nice
I believe, added
to
the third movement to his symphonies. I think he was the person who added that.
I don't know.
Yeah, because he liked... I remember I heard it as like a fun fact once. He added the minuet because he liked minuets. So we just started throwing them into symphonies.
The minuet.
Yeah, Monteverdi moved
like,
from the Renaissance into the Baroque era in a similar way to how Beethoven transitioned from classical to romantic. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, but Beethoven... Or not Beethoven. Mozart's tricky. And he's either going to be top of A or bottom of S.
Well, okay, so here's my thing. I don't like him as much as Mendelssohn in terms of just like his music.
Yeah, his music is in my opinion, but he was certainly
I like his music.
And influential.
It's just not my favorite, but it is nice. It is very relaxing.
There's only one Mozart piece which I can like sit down and be like, okay, I want to listen to the piece. And ironically, it's the one piece which it wasn't written by him. It's Requiem.
Oh my goodness.
Because it sounds like romantic era music. Yeah, but he didn't even write. He didn't even write most of Requiem. That was what's his name did that? Don't remind me. I know his name.
What? What are you talking about?
So you know Requiem, right? He died while he was writing it. He wrote out all the vocal parts and then he handed it to his like a younger composer who was working under him, and he finished them. I'm trying to remember his name. It was
Mozart Jr.
Mozart Jr. I can't remember. Started with like an M or an S, something like that. Recommend his concerti chamber music, specifically wind ensembles in his opera. Yeah, his operas always seemed interesting.
Mozart's best music is when he composed for opera. That was just the area I think he excels the most in. When he
Sussmayer. Sussmayer. That's what it is. Sussmayer. That was the guy's name. Okay, I'm gonna skip a couple, because I do want to move on. Paganini is like the next one. I guess Mussorgsky, but like people only know one piece he wrote. And again, the version that people know wasn't even arranged by him. That was him. So yeah, D tier, I guess.
Dang.
Sorry, Mussorgsky. Paganini's awesome.
I don't really care much for Paganini, but that's just me.
No, we'll skip him. The next one that I recognize besides Penderecki, because, you know, I don't want to bring him, whatever. Prokofiev. I only know one of his pieces.
Prokofiev is cool. It's like his music always has a drive to it.
Poulenc is
There's
like
always
super S tier. I have to recommend. What are
always a
some pieces that
rhythm.
you recommend from him? Prokofiev though. Prokofiev is fun. I wish he wrote like a little
Yeah,
bit more dramatic, but oh well, that's just me.
his music is very fun. His music is like, it's like
Like if I could have like a midpoint between Prokofiev and Verdi, that would be my favorite composer.
Prokofiev is like driving a fighter jet.
And then Verdi is like
It's,
piloting a Star Destroyer. His music is that intense.
it is pretty intense, but like Prokofiev
Have you ever listened to the
is
ending
very
of Verdi's
fun.
Requiem? Not like the famous Dies Irae, everyone knows that, but like the ending of it. It's wildly intense. Prokofiev though, we're talking about him, not Verdi.
Yeah, stop comparing it to your other crushes. Like, come on.
No, my other crushes, my celebrity crushes are going to be Dvorak, Ravel, and Verdi.
Oh my goodness.
I like Saint Saëns too. His music's cool. Anyways, Prokofiev. What is your opinion on him? Jeez.
Again, not really for me, but I can see the appeal. Very fun, very percussive.
Prokofiev's music
Very,
is so colorful, lively, and varied.
yeah, lively is a good word for it. It's very lively.
I like how we have like the full range of opinions. I don't have an opinion. You were like, oh, he's okay. And then Hugo in chat's like, he's awesome.
He is cool. I do. I think a lot of these guys are cool. I just haven't listened to enough of them to say like
Who's
I
better or
know
worse?
what I think.
Okay, I'm going to put him in, I like C tier, personally. I think that's a good spot for him. Maybe like here. Right next to Shostakovich.
Yeah. We haven't really gotten to the people that I like really admire in terms of composers, so I've had kind of lukewarm opinions the whole time.
For Puccini, Purcell, oh boy. Rack. What is your opinion on Rack? I know you really like Rachmaninoff.
What? When did I say that?
It was in one of
I
your
just
older
said he had big
streams.
hands.
It was one of your older streams. I remember you talked a lot about him.
I think I just made fun of him. I don't know.
Do you not like
I make fun of
Rachmaninoff?
everyone though. It's not that I don't like him. Again, I just don't know his music.
I feel bad for him. After his piano concerto, Rock 2, like nothing else he ever written got popular. Which that's just sad because he wrote piano. What was it? Rock 2. He wrote that when he was like 19 or something crazy like that. He was ridiculously young. It's a shame that none of his other stuff got popular, but Rock 2 was a really good piece of music at the same time. I don't know. He's a tricky one.
He's a trickster.
But I'm going to put him in middle of B tier, right in the middle. Actually, you know what? No. Let's push him up to here. Partially because of pity. He had quite a few successes after Piano Concerto 2, but he devoted himself to composing and conducting, especially after immigrating to America. Oh, okay. Okay,
America.
moving on. Ravel. I really like Ravel.
I haven't listened to Ravel. I know.
I
About
feel like
Ravel's
I'm
music.
kind of like I
Very
kind of
fun
have
and
to put him
bouncy,
in S
but
tier because
I don't know. Yeah. Fun.
I feel like I kind of have to put him up there. He's quite the composer. He was pretty what would you call it?
He is pretty. You're right. Look at it. Look at that face.
He is very pretty. His face is shaped like a trapezoid.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Like I
He
could
probably has the
draw.
prettiest faces out of everyone. Actually, now that I look at everyone.
Elgar is a very nice face.
That and maybe Liszt. Well, yeah, Liszt too, but his haircut is really not helping him, so he loses a bunch of points. I think I would
Ravel's
agree that Ravel is the prettiest so far.
Ravel's
Not an
music
Elgar, he's
exudes
kind of
so much
tied.
craftsmanship on the bar by bar basis. It does. And I know it's like he did a lot outside of just composition too. He did a ton of arranging. For instance, he arranged Mussorgsky's. That's because the Mussorgsky's original pictures at an exhibition was a piano piece, I think. And he arranged it for orchestra, and that's the version we now have today. That's cool.
Yay.
Korsakov. I do not like Korsakov.
Dang.
This is probably the only composer on this list which I actually actively don't hate. And it is mainly because Korsakov's music is so repetitive. It is ridiculously repetitive. I thought this was just a problem with Scheherazade, but as I've listened to more of his music, it's just his style. He loves repetition. Which, in my opinion, it's fine, but it could be a bad thing sometimes. Because it makes it so you can, jump in the middle of his piece. Or if you're just listening, you have no idea where you are in the piece. You don't know how close you are to the end or the beginning or whatever. I do not like a lot of his music. His music, granted, he also has some really, like Scheherazade, for instance, has some amazingly written melody, beautiful, beautiful melodies, amazing harmonies, but it's just so repetitive. I can't. But you can drag out those same 3 melodies for 50 minutes. It's not going to make them even more interesting. And I get there's a story behind it and everything, but yeah, it just never did it for me personally. Especially when you look at Capriccio Espagnol, for instance. That's ooh. I also struggle with Rimsky-Korsakov, but I respect his contributions to orchestration, especially his use of exotic scales and harmonies. Yeah, he did use a lot of exotic scales, didn't he? I assume you don't know anything about Rimsky-Korsakov?
No, I just know his book.
How would you rate his book?
Very good, actually.
Very good.
Better than all the other ones that I read. All the other ones are super general, but Korsakov's is very specific, and I can appreciate his specificity very much. All the other guys that write the books, I've read the orchestration books by Adler and Piston, and they're a bit too broad. They just kind of throw you an example, and they're like, yeah, you kind of want to write your orchestra like this, and you kind of probably want to do it like this. But Korsakov's if you write it like this, it will sound like this. If you write it like this, it will sound like this. If you write it like this, it will sound like this. He's very specific, and if you're just starting out, that's extremely useful information.
Yeah, totally. So maybe he's carried by the book. D tier. I can't get over it. Apparently, his operas were quite good, according to Hugo in chat, but it's just, I don't know, man. Look at Russian Easter Overture, for instance. That is, oh geez. That is a very, very repetitive piece of music. It's a good piece of music, don't get me wrong, but it's you once you've listened for half of it, you've heard the entire thing, essentially. Okay, that's so real. Yeah, you see what I mean? Moving on. I know Rossini. I haven't listened to any of his stuff, but Saint Saëns is interesting. I think Russian Easter Overture is a horrible piece. Wow. Aggressive. I think it's a fun piece to listen to, but it's just too long. Saint Saëns. Saint Saëns is fun. This is a weird picture of Saint Saëns. Did he really have dark hair? I've only ever seen him depicted with light hair. Oh well.
Oh, I'm looking it up.
Please.
I think it maybe just got gray as he got old. Yeah.
As most people did. Because I feel like I only ever see depictions of him. Saint Saëns.
Oh, yeah, it looks like he has. It looks like the lighter hair started in the beard. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Very young Camille.
Yeah,
he looks
pretty young in that photo.
Saint Saëns is fun.
I remember him from the big beard.
Saint Saëns is fun. I like his music. I really like. I think we talked. Was it? Yeah, I think it was actually my last stream. I think. It was what do you call it? Carnival of the Animals. He drew a dinosaur skeleton on the page for Fossil, which, you know what? That bumps it up a tier. That's so fun. I like Saint Saëns a lot.
For your dinosaur pick, I shall grant you one more tier.
He was cool because he was a polymath, spoke like 18 languages, danced, and studied philosophy. Dude, this guy's awesome. But actually, don't. He also he was one of the people who walked out of Rite of Spring. He was at the premiere and he walked out because of the bassoon, I think. The solo at the beginning.
Why did he walk out because of the bassoon? Oh, he didn't like it?
He didn't like it. He didn't like how the bassoon is being used.
Or maybe he just heard it and he like thought about him playing the bassoon and he just like cringed like, oh.
Saint-Saëns, I think he wrote a pretty famous bassoon concerto. Was it a concerto? Bassoon part?
You know, I just realized after all of this that the composers were sorted in alphabetical order.
You just realized that?
I just realized that. I just looked and I'm like, why are these all the
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if they were like chronologically ordered.
I mean,
all right. I'm just looking for. Have you heard Satie, Schoenberg, Schubert, Schumann, Scriven? Have you heard any of their music before?
Yes, I actively play Satie's music.
Oh boy, how would you rank him?
I would say his music is like, it's peaceful and melancholy. It's I don't want to say nostalgia because I think that's kind of an overused term to describe music. But when you listen to it, you'll know exactly what I mean, and in that way, it stands out from everyone else.
I always got the same kind of nostalgic vibes from Granger music.
Because his music isn't difficult. It's very simple. At least the pieces that I've heard. Like, they're mostly very simple, but they're very... not simple like Mozart would call simple. It's not simple in that, you know, sometimes it's technically difficult, but, you know, the melody is simple. No, his music is easy and simple, relatively, compared to the other guys that are on these lists.
Yeah.
But his harmony is different than everyone else on this list. At least from what I've seen.
Interesting.
Just no one did it like he did.
So where would you place him?
I would say, oh man.
I've never listened to any of his music, so you have the reins on this one.
Okay. If I were to recommend anything by him, of course I would probably recommend Gnosians. Those are probably not his most famous, but like they're very varied. They're varied because there are 6 of them, I think. And you kind of know what I mean when I say nostalgia. You just kind of hear it. But I also like some of his waltzes. They're very fun.
His like 1910 ballet parade was where the term surrealism was coined, and Picasso did the set and costume design. That's cool.
Yeah.
I love seeing
also,
artists
he just looks kind of funny.
He does
He looks like a librarian.
He looks like he's about to tell me a very... He looks like he's about to tell like his nephew a very, very inappropriate joke.
Yeah, but also he kind of looks like a wizard. Like he's about to tell you like how to curse someone and
he's gonna teach
egg.
me how to cast a spell.
Yeah, he's kind of awesome. Do
like,
I like him more than these other guys? Personally, yes. He's not as influential, not even remotely, though, than most of these guys. Really, he's kind of like he's not underground because you will know his music when you hear it, but like he just wasn't very influential. But
he also wrote satire and lived in a small apartment with 2 pianos stacked on top of each other. What an interesting fellow.
I think he like ate food that was only color white.
What?
I think that was like one of his weird things. Yeah, I think he had a fear of eggs or something. He was kind of
one of the very few
funky
white foods.
Yeah, he ate like eggs and cauliflower or something and rice. I don't know.
What a guy.
Something like that, and he just couldn't stand eggs.
Okay.
But yeah.
I know about Scriven, but I don't care about him.
Dang, well, me neither.
I don't care for Scriven. It
sounds like thunder,
I don't care for Scriven, but Sibelius has one famous piece of music, but it's super cool. Finlandia. But his name also did inspire the music software Sibelius, which is going to have to dock him a tier.
I can't even argue with that.
It wasn't even him who decided to do that.
This is such a stray. He got such a huge stray.
It could have been anyone else. But Finlandia is a pretty neat piece of music. Hot take: Finlandia is one of his worst pieces. Oh wow, them's fighting words.
Well, then maybe we've heard if we think his worst is pretty cool, then maybe his other stuff is even better.
Yeah, I like his music a lot. He definitely wasn't very influential, but he was like one of the very few Scandinavian composers, which was pretty cool. Wait, is Finland a part of? No, Finland is a part of Scandinavia. Well, you get what I mean. Yeah, he was one of the very few like Northern European composers though, which is pretty cool. And he helped, and he was very, influenced by the Finnish Revolution and all that, which is neat. I don't know. I just think that's neat. Oh, you said it. You said I read like Strauss, don't you?
Yeah.
Admittedly,
well, when you were writing like your simpler music, then yeah.
Yeah. Admittedly, I have not listened to much Strauss.
It's very. I mean, I mostly listen to like slower music, but his music is very. It's like. What's the word? It's very thick.
You're gonna have to give me
it's not
some more explanation on that one.
It's not. I was gonna say like peaceful, but peaceful has like an air of like lightheartedness. It's not lighthearted. It's a little heavier, but it's very. I don't know. I just think it's neat and very romantic, and I like it. Hence the name, the Romantic Period. Wow,
I think Strauss II was found to be quantitatively the most famous person in Europe from like 1860 to 1880. Really? The most famous person in Europe? Oh, that's quite the honor.
His music is epic.
Okay, moving on. Wait, how would you put him before that?
I don't know. He used to be a romantic composer. I like him a lot, so I would put him at like high in the B tier, I guess.
High in the B tier, like around like rock. I like here. That's a good spot.
There are a lot of B's. We might have to move some of these guys around.
Certainly.
I don't like that the B tier is.
His music is cute and little else, in my opinion. Okay. Oh, big one up next. Stravinsky.
He has kind of a goofy face in this picture. They could have picked a better one.
He's kind of a goofy guy.
He is a goofy guy.
I admittedly have not listened to anything written by him outside of Rite of Spring.
What?
I haven't listened to Firebird. I'm sorry.
But you haven't listened to the.
Regrettably not.
The beginning of the Firebird sounds so evil, and then the rest of it is so goofy. It's my favorite part. Like I when I listened to it for the first time, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be like dark and gritty," and then I hear the rest of it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is like Disney." But it's very fun.
Okay.
Stravinsky stands out
Stravinsky
from everyone
really
on this list. Like he's way different than everyone else here.
Stravinsky is extremely influential too, which actually makes him very unique. Because the other atonal composers, or like atonal quote unquote, but like Bartók, wasn't super influential, but like compared to Stravinsky at least.
Yeah, Stravinsky, along with Holst and some other people, they basically invented film music, which I can appreciate. I like film music.
I like putting him in.
I like him too.
I think this is a good spot for him. There's not much to say about Stravinsky. He's just so good in all of his style periods, which is weird to say that you don't have much to say on him, considering what he wrote.
I think I like him a bit more than Mozart, personally.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely like his music more than Mozart. It's just Mozart is it's a little easier.
Probably not more than Elgar, though.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, you're not beating Elgar. Tchaikovsky.
You're not Elgar. Sorry, man.
Tchaikovsky. I like Tchaikovsky a lot.
I do too. Who doesn't?
That's kind of difficult to hate
know?
Tchaikovsky.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
only thing about him
Mhm.
is I wish his endings were a little bit more interesting, because a lot of them are just like big, big, big. But I guess that's kind of like the whole point with
Big.
him. He threw cannons in there and fireworks and all that stuff. But, and then except that one time in his last symphony where he wrote it, he ended it sad. I wish he did more like those kind of endings, especially in the pieces like the Overture to Romeo and Juliet, for instance. The big ending sounds super
Okay, well, it's an overture, so I can forgive that one.
No, but if you listen to it, you'll see what I mean. Because it ends all, you know, nice, and it sounds like it's going to fade out and just out of nowhere. Bomb, bomb, bomb. It's ridiculous. Tchaikovsky
well,
great, but I hate 1812. Yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna be so honest. I don't listen to a whole lot of symphonies. I mostly know composers because of like their chamber works or their like solo instrument works.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I prefer listening to personally. Tchaikovsky's music, very romantic, probably the most romantic composer ever.
Yeah.
I don't think there's. I remember reading it that at the time that he suffered the same criticisms as Mendelssohn, is that in that his music felt like it felt like a forced emotional kind of music, if you know what I mean. Like it felt like it was kind of like fake, like it's just being sappy for the sake of being sappy. And that might be true for all we know, but like that doesn't make his music worse, in my opinion. I never got that criticism. It's like, whatever, man. It sounds good.
Yeah,
Who cares?
his music is good too, like on a structural level. And he was also the other thing that gets me is he is extremely influential, especially as a Russian composer.
Mm-hmm. I like him a lot. He's like the most romantic composer ever. So
when I first
points.
started this tier list, I was like, oh, he's an easy S tier. But I think I
would agree with that. Personally,
I could also see high A. But I also like S tier a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also he's gay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
happy to keep him up then. Ooh, Verdi. I like Verdi's music a lot. But that's probably just because I have very, very low taste, very low standards. And big, boom, intense music sounds cool.
I mean, that is cool.
He doesn't look like the kind of guy that would write like super intense music too. He looks like
he doesn't look like he looks like he's about to serve me out of Wells Fargo.
Yeah, he
is cool.
I really like his music though, personally. It's weird to think that he's Italian too, because like his music doesn't really sound Italian. I mean, kind of. Like La Forza del Destino sounds super Italian. The overture to that.
It doesn't look Italian in this photo.
It looks English in this photo.
Yeah, that or even American.
I could see
it
that.
might just be that photo specifically. Yeah.
I like
I'm sure other photos.
Like, I like here. With every composer, we're just moving list further and further down.
So I looked up more pictures of Verdi, and
when Verdi died,
there's no way this guy does not look Italian at all.
Does he not?
Just look up his photos.
Giuseppe Verdi. You're right.
This guy doesn't look Italian at all.
Look at that hat. He's like the Jack the Ripper hat.
Even like without the hat, like he's like Santa Claus.
Would you sit on his lap, like in this photo?
He's got like the white collar. He's like attending a funeral, or he's like a priest or something.
Like Santa Claus had like a midlife crisis and moved to like Iowa.
Yeah, it does look like he's from Iowa.
We should stop dissing these guys.
No, I don't care. They're dead.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, there's only two more on the list that I want to rank: Vivaldi and Wagner. Vivaldi is interesting because
Vivaldi wrote the same concerto 5 billion times, but I like all of them. Vivaldi is my favorite composer.
Wasn't he also like forgotten for like a couple hundred years? Like completely forgotten.
Yeah. So was Bach, I think.
How important is he? Like maybe like here, because he did do a lot of stuff with his concerto.
In terms of, yeah, he kind of popularized the concerto form because he wrote like 5 billion of them. He wrote a concerto for basically every instrument that he could get his hands on.
I like how Hugo put in chat. Vivaldi learned about sequences and never looked back.
Exactly. Like that's why I'm like, I can't really criticize any composer for being repetitive because Vivaldi is pretty repetitive, but I still like it. It's like comfort music.
Yeah, I like that.
His music is very exuberant.
I like
very
here.
flashy.
I think that's a good spot.
Maybe.
And finally, Wagner. I like Wagner a lot as a musician. Let me clarify. As a composer, I think he wrote some very good parts. As a person,
his haircut,
maybe not.
Though, his haircut is so bad. Probably one of the worst. Probably second to Holst for worst haircut. So you lose points for that.
Yeah, he's really trying to force that look.
That one is, bro, just get a wig. This is not good.
I like Grieg's haircut. We never talked about that. He looks like in a cartoon character, like something
kind of cute. Yeah, he's like a younger like Albert Einstein. Like.
Yeah. He looks like in a cartoon when a character like something like a bomb explodes in their hands.
Yeah, like the mad scientist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the best looking man out of all of these guys? His neckbeard is unbelievable. Oh yeah, I forgot his neck. Yeah. You can't really see it because it looks like a shadow in the photo, but his neckbeard is awful. Yeah, hold on. I feel like this might be the worst looking man.
Oh, geez.
Oh no. It's so bad. He's definitely the worst looking man on this list.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I do like his music though. He wrote some pretty cool pieces.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of his operas.
Verdi, I think, is the sharpest looking. I like his look a lot.
I like his operas, actually. I don't listen to much operas.
That and Elgar.
I don't listen to many operas, but I like Wagner's operas. Tannhäuser has a really good overture. What is it? Tristan Le Best? Something like that. Has a really nice... The entire thing is really good. Yeah. Here were good operas, but I can't say much else about that. He's also kind of in the same category as Verdi, as like he wrote very intense music, especially for brass.
I know he made that one tuba, but that's basically all I know.
Okay, that is everybody that I would like to rank from down here. That I can.
We didn't do Schubert or Schumann. Oh, wow! I didn't even notice we skipped them.
List was so beautiful that the reaction among audiences to his appearance was classified as mass hysteria. Yeah,
like it was called like Listomania or something. The thing is, like, just hold on, pull up that picture of Liszt again. Like, he has a very pretty face, but oh man, that haircut, I can't get over it. It's so bad.
Yeah, he has that amazing jaw.
Yeah, he has a very pretty face. If he like moves his hair more in front of his face, he would probably be the most handsome man on this list.
Cover up the forehead a little bit.
That hair is. Yeah, it's really not helping him.
Also, he looks like he's like sad all the time.
Also, his hair is a little too thick. It looks like a big glob. It's like Billy Mitchell's hair.
Can I get like a picture of a list up?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kept that going for a while. Like, here's what he looked like when he was old. He kept that hair going.
Yeah, he kept it up forever.
Oh, is that what he... Okay, maybe the hair was a good idea.
Yeah, wait, what is that? I'm just going to blame the artist on that one. What is that?
He's also a huge philanthropist and was very charismatic. That's neat.
Well, yeah, because he's a beautiful man. If it wasn't for his awful hairstyle. Like, he looks like what I imagine... His hairstyle is like what I imagine like a Victorian auntie would look like. It's just not good.
He looks like somebody might, like if I'm walking down the street and he's walking the other way, my whoever I'm walking with, be it like
he looks like a penguin in that photo.
Be it like my mother or father would cover my eyes and bring me closer as he's walking the other way.
He's too sexy, yeah. I don't know if I ever told you about this, but I remember reading about how Chopin criticized Liszt because he played his music too flashy, and Chopin was really upset about it.
Really? Chopin of all people, he made some pretty flashy music.
Okay, but Liszt.
Okay, but compared to Liszt, yeah, no. But like Fantasy Impromptu, that's pretty flat.
And he was playing he was playing one of his nocturnes.
Oh, yeah, that
and he
makes
made
sense.
it really flashy, and Chopin was really upset about it. And
Yeah,
he
that would make
demanded an
sense.
apology, like a public apology from him or something. And Liszt was like, I don't know if he did. I never saw if he did, but they probably did because they were friends. But still, like I think I say this every time I talk about Liszt, but everyone who criticizes people that play Liszt pieces because they play it too flashy and without musicality are stupid. Like they're actually dumb. Like, are you listening to the music that the guy is playing right now? Like, do you want me to play it without flashiness? Like, if you want that, just go back to listening to your Beethovens, bro. Like, he exists. Liszt's music, it was purpose built for his hands.
Yeah, nobody else could.
Like-
nobody else could do it. His hands were that big.
And I feel like a lot of people, this is going to be, I'm not going to name any performers here because I would be like criticizing the gods of piano performance.
Yeah, and I don't
But
think
I
you're in a
feel
really
like-
good spot to criticize anyone in piano.
Yeah. But like, I feel like some people really like some pianists that play the romantic composers and call them romantic pianists solely because they play the romantic music in a classical style. So that's why they prefer them.
Ooh.
That's it.
Ooh,
I feel like
those
a
are
lot
some
of
strong
critics, a lot of critics especially, they just like those people they call romantic pianists because they play romantic music but in the classical, more conservative style, which is why they like them more. And then they call them romantic pianists. No, they're not romantic pianists. They're just playing the romantic piece in a classical style, and that's not a bad thing. But then to call them romantic pianists just feels incorrect.
Yeah, that's
if I were to name names, that would be I would get in some trouble. I mean, it's not their fault. It's the critics' fault, but we didn't put anyone in F tier, even though we have it. Do we want to move some people?
Okay, there we go.
I'm sorry.
It's the
Mr.
perfect tier
Corsica.
list. Is there anyone down here who I like actively dislike? No, not really. I don't really care for Paganini. Oh, geez,
No.
that is a neck beard and a half right there, though.
No, you just got the chops. I can respect the chops. I really like Schubert's music.
Unfortunately, it is. I think this is a good place to wrap up. I know we didn't get to the instrument one, but
Speed run.
there are so many, and half of these we're gonna have to
Bass
look up.
clarinet. Cool, I guess. Not the best
Half
though.
of these are gonna be in B tier.
B for bass.
I'll tell you what. When I get back, first stream we'll maybe first, maybe second. We'll be another one of these, and we'll do this.
Do
one.
the first stream. I want to talk to you about your experience in the country.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we could have like a little debrief, I guess.
No, I want you to take photos.
I'll take
Lots of photos.
And I'll grab you the books you requested.
Yeah.
Books,
Yeah.
quote unquote. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, they can put the put the dot, connect the dots.
Yeah, so basically, cool.
I guess this I think this is a good place to wrap up. We'll save this one for later. In fact, here, I'll send you this one. I'll DM it to you so that I'll never forget it. Unless I do, in which
We're still
case-
gonna forget it though.
Oh, that's not my fault. And we won't have to spend 15 minutes looking for it like we did today.
Sure.
But yeah, this is our tier list. This is the composer. Here's the key signature one and the theory one last time. I think that's a good place to wrap up. So as a reminder for everybody who's here, I am not going to stream for like 2 weeks. And this time it's actually because I have a reason.
It's because he's going away on
I'm
vacation.
going away. I'm going on vacation. so I will not be at a station I can.
Wait. Did you
stream
get
from.
like a cool camera or did you just settle for your phone?
I'm just going with my phone. It's fine.
Okay, yeah.
But then, yeah, I'll take some pictures. Maybe the first one back, we can do a little bit of debriefing, and I could, show
No,
some of the
take
cool
lots of
stuff I did.
pictures. You can do a whole stream about pictures. I want you to take as many as you can because
Yeah, but I also
you will
don't want to
probably not
look
be
like
back
one
there
of
for a
those,
while.
one of those streamers. You know what I mean?
Bro, who cares?
Yeah, that's a good point. Whatever.
What do you mean one of those
I do
streamers?
what
The
I
streamers
want.
who shares their experiences in a cool place.
If I cared about being successful with streaming, I would not be streaming classical music composition.
That's actually so true.
No, I would be streaming like Fortnite or whatever. I don't know what the kids like nowadays.
Yeah. What's the new thing now? What was that? That one. I don't know any games.
I don't know what these video games are. What these kids are into.
Yeah, what are the kids playing nowadays? Gmod? Do people still play
Are
that?
kids still playing Gmod?
Do people still play that?
That's the whole thing. There's like a, I don't know. Do people still play COD or whatever? Is that a streaming
Probably,
thing still?
but no. Valorant is the new hotness for shooting. Okay, whatever. We can talk about this later.
All right,
Go to
then.
bed,
I think
dum-dum.
this is a good time to bid farewell, everybody. It has been a pleasure making tier lists with you all today, and I will see
I hope you
all-
get offended.
Yeah, I hope you get offended. Leave hate comments. It's great for the algorithm.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure hanging out with you all today. And until I see you again, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. Goodbye.